is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
To return some videotapes. 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 Videotapes.
All right, welcome back to Strange Glow Video on the Ectoviolence channel once again. On a Monday night, it's storming outside. The vibes are immaculate. We both got some pretty neat lighting for the spooky seasons. Justin's is giving me, it's giving Nightmare on Elm Street 2 right now. It's giving bisexual lighting.
Yeah, it's two-tone, so
You've got the body, I've got the penis.
I mean that's one way to look at it. Yeah, I got a little bit of purple lighting going here, a little orange lighting going for the season, for the mood. And tonight we're going to talk about the new Stephen King adaptation of the film The Long Walk.
Yeah. I will say going into this, we've seen The Monkey from this year, which is really good. I mean, it's not like my favorite Stephen King movie, but today I was going through, I got to tell you, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do a top 10 list, a top 15 list, top 20. I don't, what am I going to do here? I'm going to do a Stephen King list, and I figured I could just workshop this with you here, but
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because I'm not doing like top 10 Stephen King adaptions. That's not what's happening. Because then you can't include stuff like Creepshow that he wrote.
Yeah, I would just say
It's top 10 Stephen King movies or however many.
that's a tough list because he's a prolific writer. He's written so many things, has so many so many things have been adapted for film, media,
And
TV,
ranking them
made
too
for TV. Yeah.
is like, what are you going to put above others? Because clearly there's going to be some stuff that I'm going to put later in the list. Like, maybe I'll just spoil something now. Maybe The Green Mile might be higher up on the list. Not like number 1 or number 2 or number 3 like it would be on some people's lists because they think that's like, super profound movie. Same with Shawshank Redemption. Might be a little lower on my list than it would be other people's. It's a great fucking movie. Maybe one of the best movies ever made, but I tell you, I'm rewatching The Shining over Shawshank, mostly.
Yeah. As a horror fan, I would watch The Shining more often than Shawshank, but I feel like in the past, I watched Shawshank more, mostly because of how often it was played on TV.
I never saw it on TV as a kid, yeah. It was like too much. It wasn't my style. Like, I couldn't get into that movie as a kid, you know what I mean?
Sure.
For obvious reasons.
And so that was the type of movie that anytime it's on, I just watch.
Yeah.
But now that I don't channel surf anymore, right? That's a dead art.
I do have that on DVD, and it's just a classic snap case. But that's a movie like I might upgrade to Blu-ray one day because I'd like to see. That's a decent enough looking movie, but it's also take place in dark, dreary prison. So I'm like, DVD's probably good enough too. I'm not like gotta hurry to go upgrade that.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair assessment of that movie. I mean, obviously the cinematography is nice, but there's like no special effects, so I don't see a crazy reason to go upgrade that for a movie like that. Isn't necessarily rely on the visuals. It's very human-driven story,
and it's a great fucking story. And God, what's his face? I always forget his name. The lead actor in that.
Oh,
what's his name? Damn it, he's in Jacob's Ladder too, which is one of my favorites if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's Tim Robbins. You're talking about
Robbins.
Old Andy Dufresne. Old Andy
Dufresne.
Yeah. How do you say that? I haven't watched that in a while, honestly.
I think it's Dufresne. I think I made Tatum watch it because she just hadn't seen it. And I was like, listen, I know it's like a prison movie, but like, because I'm not a prison movie guy. But that movie is just like an incredible movie, no matter how you slice it, so.
Yes, that's a really good movie. Pretty much a perfect movie. I don't think there's anything in that movie I would change.
Yeah. And like The Green Mile's good, but it's one of those movies like it's the cousin of Shawshank, or it's almost that. It's a little supernatural though. And
Yeah, I was going to say the supernatural bit of that, I feel like deters that away from a wider audience that Shawshank has.
yeah.
And by no means does that make it not as good of a story, but I just feel like
It's not
even
as
someone that's not a Stephen King fan is going to be like, "Oh, the Shawshank Redemption is amazing."
Green Mile's more depressing.
Yeah.
Shawshank is more uplifting, even though it has very depressing moments and shit and really dark shit. But like when I think of
Yes.
prison and movies, I think of Shawshank and like American History X.
Mm-hmm.
They're just the ones that are burned in my skull, and maybe it's because of the particular violence in those movies and stuff in the prisons.
Yeah.
And the representation there, but because a lot of times comedy and jails is played for comedy in movies, and I'm like,
Yes.
man, that's a fucked up place. Like, how many jokes have we seen about dropping the soap? Hey, come on.
Well, and especially like after for-profit prisons became a thing in the early 90s, like then at that point you're just like, all right, fuck this.
Yeah, it's not like they were great before that though, but still,
No,
yeah.
no, by any means. But it just made it all worse when you're
Oh,
literally
100%.
profiting off people's fucking suffering. Like that's
Yeah.
just disgusting.
Anyway, there's also, the It mini series, because when I say movies, I'm going to be loose with that term, because that
Mhm.
has to be included on my list. Because here's the thing, that may not be as good to some people as the other It series. I think the first It movie they did when they did those 2 parts, the Andy Muschietti ones, was really good. The second part was good, not really good.
Yeah.
And the original just holds a special place in my heart, and I can acknowledge that it's going to be higher on my list than other people's. Like, I think it's fucking superb. So, it's going to be that kind of a list where, And then there's stuff I haven't, like I've recently bought The Mist, and I've never seen it. So I got to watch that before I
Okay.
make this list.
Well, and I feel like I feel like you need to like break it down into several lists, right? Because he has a lot of stuff that was made for TV. And I feel like you need to see like the best of the best, right? You've got Salem's Lot, you've got The Shining, you've got It, and then all these things also have movies.
Well, then he did Maximum Overdrive,
Mm-hmm.
the Creepshow movies, the Richard Bachman stuff that's been converted also, like Running
Yes.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
I love Running Man. The Long Walk was a Richard Bachman thing. I loved The Long Walk. You can bet that's going on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess that's as good as transition as any, but I am also trying out one of these Angry Orchards tonight. This one's the Headless Pumpkin. I just figured because I was wearing this
Okay.
pumpkin shirt, I'd give it a shot.
Doesn't it taste like an orange soda almost? Oh, you haven't tried it yet?
Not the pumpkin one yet.
Okay.
The blood orange one has Jason on it, and that one was pretty decent.
Oh, that's the one that tasted like an orange soda almost to me. The pumpkin one's just kind of a pumpkin cider. It's neither here nor there.
Wow, that's really pumpkin-y, though. Damn. Honestly,
Pumpkin
that's
or
not
pumpkin
bad.
spice? I felt like the apple one and
Okay,
that
I
one
mean,
were.
when you say that, it's definitely pumpkin spice, but like I can feel a tiny bit of like actual. Maybe it's just the spice fooling me, because those spices are used in pumpkin pie, but it tastes like pumpkin pie to me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see, I like the apple, the sinful apple, and that one just because they were less sweet.
Mm.
Because of the spices and that in there, like that cut the sweetness off of it. Like the berry one was okay, and the orange one is okay.
Ooh, that's
But
really interesting. I didn't think I was gonna like this. Yeah.
yeah, well, because normally you're like, okay, I'm gonna have a spiced alcoholic beverage, and you're like, is this gonna be any good? But
And
yeah,
I'm not a
it's
big drinker anyway, so it's like I was thinking I might take a couple sips of this and then it would just be a prop, but I might drink it.
yeah. Well, it's a good night to have a cold one.
Yeah.
So let's talk cast for The Long Walk.
Were you aware of any of this casting? I recognized 2 people from the trailer. Exactly 2 people. David Johnson and Mark Hamill.
Yeah, David Johnson I recognized just because he was in Alien Romulus recently. That was it, right?
And I
Or
thought
was-
his performance in that was fucking awesome too. Yeah.
yeah, he's one of the best characters in that. He's one of my favorite up and coming actors, really.
That's what I was saying, man.
Like he is so good in this, and he's so drastically different than his last character.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing that blew my mind was Cooper Hoffman. That's
Same.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Yeah.
And he was in the SNL movie, which, that was a pretty big ensemble cast, so I didn't really notice that,
Me neither. I'd have to go back and look.
And then now I'm really interested in Licorice Pizza. I'd heard good things about that at the time when it came out, but man, and he was good in this. Cooper
Well, that's the
was.
thing is like you kind of introduced to him and you're like, I'm kind of already like, okay, let's get to David Johnson. And that's just because he's so good in the trailers.
Yeah.
And he was so good in Alien Romulus that I'm like, this is my guy. Like, I'm here for it. I know he's one of the main characters. So,
Mhm.
But I actually did start to like this guy like pretty quickly. Like at least his portrayal of the character and his acting, like the way it was all going down, it was very, very enjoyable. And I was impressed by the end. I was like, holy shit, man.
Well, the impressive thing to me was, right, he's not the traditional leading man, handsome that you would expect them to try to cast in this. So, like, this cast was based strictly on talent.
Hmm.
And to me, I appreciate that because they could have easily went for someone that was more, of a poster face for a child. Because really, when you think about the simplicity of this film, as far as they're literally just filming them walking all over the place. And so every day they're walking to shoot this stuff, probably over and over and over.
That's the thing. I watched some behind the scenes on this you can find on YouTube already. And it's like, just a fucking caravan of people walking down the road. Everybody from makeup artist to the director is walking down the fucking road. I mean, there's camera operators and cars, obviously, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a ton of people just fucking walking. And the actors would walk like 10 miles a day. And they would actually get blisters and be like feeling like shit from walking.
Yeah. Yeah, that was intense. There's somebody else in there that I recognized when he was talking. Let me go to the cast here.
The guy who played Hank, that's the guy from the new Karate Kid movie
Okay.
that came out over the summer, Karate Kid Legends. I didn't see it, to be fair, but I did recognize him and looked it up, and that's who that is.
Okay.
The guy who played Andy Barker did a really good job, too.
I mean,
those are like the 4 Musketeers characters, essentially.
yeah. Yeah, no, this cast is great. And then,
So I was very interested in, like, what the world is going to be like in this movie.
uh-huh.
And I was very pleasantly surprised that there wasn't an enormous amount of exposition in the dialogue. Everything that was explained through either background and stories or just visually with the state that things are in these cities that they're walking through,
Mm-hmm.
everything like that. So I thought that was very interesting, like this dystopian environment. And I won't say much more than this about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, but I saw this the day that happened, and that whole segment with spoiler warning at the end. I mean, I know we're jumping ahead here, but like with the decision to shoot or not shoot the major was wild to watch that day.
Yeah. So I will say, man, that is one thing that this movie did not do that I would almost expect. Right, we watch a lot of horror, so gore isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But there are people who unalive themselves in this movie, and you see it in full gory detail, and it is fucking intense.
I was about to say, like, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, every time someone was about to die, I was like, oh, fuck, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Wait.
feeling that shit. And even though you know it's going to happen, it's kind of like, it does feel like watching, stuff like Squid Game and stuff. And I'm sure that's why people are greenlighting this, because of stuff like Squid Game and Hunger Games and all that stuff that's been doing well, like these post-apocalyptic games,
Yes.
basically, for financial gain to get out of poverty and et cetera, et cetera. There's different elements in all of it, but honestly, I gotta say I was blown away with this one, and it does make me want to read the book. I've already been told in my comments, though, that this ends very differently from the book.
Okay. That's good to know. I'm going to throw that on. And I've been on a Stephen King spree this year. And by that, I mean, I watched the new Salem's Lot here recently, which I enjoyed. A lot of people said it was kind of boring, but, I love a vampire movie, and I thought it was good enough.
I mean, the
So I
original
liked it.
is kind of boring. It's nostalgic and fun, and there's some great fucking moments. Like that kid outside the goddamn window is so iconic, but it's a little
Yeah.
long too. So I mean,
But I listened to the audiobook this year too, man. And, I got my library card just for audiobooks because they charge so fucking much to like buy audiobooks. And it's nothing against the authors there. I have a nice book collection, but obviously when you do an audiobook, that takes an insane amount of time and additional work to edit that. That's why you get the additional cost for that. So to me, like the public library can foot the bill for me and then I can rent it for free. I'm good
There
with
you go.
that, right? It's a win-win.
perfect.
That was a really good audiobook. I really enjoyed that. And I just started Pet Cemetery audiobook. So, and then just going through and you see The Long Walk. And then I know that The Running Man's coming. And I read The Running Man earlier this year in anticipation of that movie. So, you know, like I've always enjoyed Stephen King movies, right? It's always been a thing. Like as a horror genre fan, you're gonna like some of that pretty much no matter what.
Absolutely.
Just getting into the reading of it and getting into the audiobooks, man. And let's face it, like I podcast with you or, do our show, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we say podcast because we literally started this thing as an audio only format.
I mean, it's still basically a video podcast.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing. I mean, so it's pretty much what it is.
And so we started this that way. So I do that. I work full time, got 3 kids. I'm working on my bachelor's degree right now. So like my time is very limited. So like sitting down just to read when I have time is not as easy as I'd like it to be. But
Well, that's one of the things
audiobooks, man.
I used to do that in my downtime. Actually, when I worked at Comcast, I always brought a book with me in the truck. You never know when you're
Mhm.
just like sitting around waiting in that thing. So I read like
Well-
American Psycho and some other shit.
And I just do so much driving.
Right. Audiobooks are worth it for you.
Audiobooks are really amazing because there's podcasts I still listen to, and you can listen to the news radio. And let's face it, though, I mean, like when I listen to the radio, I'm generally listening to NPR now just to kind of get caught up on things. But they're very repetitive, so they kind of repeat the same things all day long, usually
Yeah.
on all the news radio and podcasts. It's like podcasts are tough because you get in the middle of a conversation. So like if you stop what you're doing there, but like with the book, I feel like the flow just naturally goes back into
Hmm.
listening without feeling like you're lost.
Yeah, I'm selective with podcasts. I watch H3 a lot, and I watch them though. I don't ever listen to them anymore because
Yeah.
they're very visual podcasts, but they do still update the audio feed. And then Purple Stuff podcast, they don't do anything visual. They don't have a YouTube. They don't even have an Instagram for their podcast. The two of them have separate Instagrams and promote it. But
Mhm.
I will go back and listen to their old episodes before I go and find a new podcast just because I find them so entertaining and there's so much interesting knowledge. Like, I swear to God, you need to actually sit down sometime and just throw on one of those episodes that sounds interesting to you because fascinating dudes. But yeah, I'm kind of falling out of love with podcasting, but that's also just because it's, there's so many podcasts that are just white dudes sitting there in front of microphones, and I say that
As white dudes, yes, I'm
Yes.
well
I
aware
mean,
of the.
I'm non-binary, but what we will basically a white dudes with microphones
Yes,
by a standard definition here, and
I get that, and
Like-
what makes us different than other people there? But I get that.
but I don't. Regardless of that, I'm doing this YouTube channel, and the reason we even started this in the beginning was because we didn't live near each other, and we would often be talking about new movies or new stuff that was happening and talk on the phone for an hour, and it was like we just record this and make it a podcast because we're already doing the work.
Yeah, and I think that was a natural organic spot to start with this. And we've grown and we've changed over the time. Before we were trying to cram so much into it, but you learn and grow when you're doing these things.
Right.
So
And that was fun too, though. Like, I go back once in a while and look at something old that we've done because there was a lot of it is slop, because we didn't know what we were doing yet and whatnot. But
Yeah.
also, it's fun to have that, like, record of just being. It's like a home video almost, a family basically, because you were fucking brothers. So it's like an just to watch us hang out anytime and talk about whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it was, or even if it's something cooler, like, hey, I'm just gonna go watch this fucking video of us going to FanFest and everything, or to the Ghostbusters premieres, the Twister event, the Lost Boys event.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've done a lot of really amazing things just because of this that gave us a platform to be included in those things.
Yeah,
And now, granted, some of this we could have just gone on our own and done as well, but to be there and like be involved, like it's really paid off for itself in many ways. And so I love doing it, right? It's a labor of love because, being busy people and everything like that, sometimes you're just going to be like, okay.
and sometimes we'll go a couple years without doing anything but podcasting. But we did the Child's Play 3 event this year,
Mm-hmm.
so that's something.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, yeah, but I think, for me, reading is something I want to do more of. It's just hard to do with my schedule. And I'm like, I think I have 7 classes to take left after the class I'm in right now to finish my degree up. So it's like, whew, a very long time coming for me on that. So like after that, then I'm like, okay, what do I want to do creatively? Like, because I'll have a little bit more time for personal creativity at that point.
Yeah.
So, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. So jumping back over to the long walk, because obviously that's the main talking point tonight. You know who was really good in this movie? And I haven't really recognized him as anything else?
Huh?
Was Ben Wang.
That's what I was talking about from. Is that the kid from
The
Karate
Karate
Kid?
Kid Legends? Yeah.
What
Yeah,
else
he
is
was.
in?
I didn't see that. He was in the Mean Girls musical they did.
I didn't see that either. You'd think I would.
Yeah, I
Not
didn't
you.
see. I mean, I grew up singing and choir and stuff, man. I like musicals. I don't know why anyone would think I don't, but
Well, it's Mean Girls in particular is one thing, and then Mean Girls a musical is like double gay. That's all. It's just.
I
Funny.
mean, Mean Girls is a really fucking good movie. I don't care who you are. Like that
Well,
is.
that's what I'm saying, but like, it's one of the. I don't know. It's just hard to explain. It's funny. I like musicals, but I'm picky about musicals too. I like.
Yeah.
My favorite musical is Rocky Horror Picture Show. My second favorite
Yeah.
is Little Shop. If it's spooky related and there's some cool shit going on, I'm more inclined to be into that. But Singing in the Rain and Sound of Music, I also love. I really love Singing in the Rain. That's like my number 3 musical.
So the first time I went to New York, I saw Rent on Broadway. That was really fucking cool. And then I think they did trying to think if that was before or after they did the movie of that. It was around the same time because it was still very popular, but that's a great fucking show.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, just jumping back to this cast though, this cast is so good. Like there wasn't anybody in there that you didn't like, and the characters that you were meant to dislike, you genuinely dislike.
At least until it's time to not dislike them anymore while they're on their way
Yeah.
out the door.
I think my favorite character for that was played by Charlie Plumer, and that was Gary, number 5.
Gary Barkovich?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Barkovich pissed me the fuck off. I was happy to see him go still. Even though like he had that redemption, it was like not real redemption. It was still kind of lame, and he stabbed himself in the neck. That was fucked up and brutal though.
Yeah, but for me, he was showing serious vibes of like, and I really need to read the book to hopefully get a better understanding of that character. But he just looked like someone that was like schizophrenic. Like it looked like there's more than one person going on in his head at the same time. And he did a
Oh,
good
yeah, I
job
could get
portraying that. Because like there's times where he's upset with himself, and so like him struggling there, he's pretty good. I like that. I liked his performance there.
I really liked can't remember his last name, Colley. And I don't want to assume, but I want to say that he looked like he was a Native American character. He was with them pretty close to Lanier. I think he was the last 5 or 6 of them. And
Yeah.
he fucking went out by grabbing a rifle and taking one of them out. And that fucking ruled.
Yeah. When you talk about dystopian future, right? This, how can such a simple concept fuck with you in such deep ways? Right? Because you literally watch everyone in this movie.
It's because of the dialogue and the deep connections that are formed in the actual portrayal of these people. Because you could put this in a situation where we don't care about these people at all. There is a
Okay.
movie that exists, I feel like, where we could watch it and not care about them. But I think it's mainly the dialogue between our 2 central characters, obviously, but also the rest, like that, our kind of core group of 8 or 9 people that are essentially leads.
Mm-hmm.
All their different backstories, their kind of explanations that give a little exposition into what this world is about and how they're growing up. And it seems like, right, if you were to try to define this world, it would be like, this is an alternate reality. The book was, very influenced by Vietnam, so this world almost looks like a post-Vietnam alternate universe where that shit fucked the United States.
Yes.
The United States has gone downhill and has not gone uphill, so like the 80s and 90s never happened because the cars, the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe we got as far as the 80s or something, but like there's portable radios, but there's no phones, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that was I did appreciate that about this film a lot, is that they were fairly ambiguous with the time frame.
No, it's enjoyable, yeah.
Intentionally allowing you to focus on the characters and for the longevity of this film, right? You could watch this film in 20 years and probably have the same feelings and outcome just because you're not distracted by phones at the time, but you also see these older cars. But if you drive through rural America right now, a lot of those side of the road scenes look very authentic to current times.
Yeah.
Right? You look at the downfall of small towns and everything else that's going on currently.
It reminds me a little bit of Interstellar.
Okay, yeah.
You know how it's kind of like a little
Back on Earth, yep.
post-apocalyptic. It's like a shittier version of our existence.
Yes.
And it's just like... Now, this movie's very politically charged, but I wouldn't say it's taking sides of anything current or anything like that. It's not trying to do that, but it is very political in its nature. And the conversations that they're having when he's like telling him about his wish, about I'm going to take the carbine and I'm going to fucking kill the major for killing my father. It's those stories that make you like really invested when people do start to die. Because you're like, all right, all these people have to have these weird, fucked up backstories. Eventually you get Peter's later.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit's wild too. The scar on his face and everything. He gets asked about earlier in the movie.
Well, you open up, and then I love the way they presented the fact that you can become fast friends with somebody without knowing them your whole life. Right? Yeah. You find a kindred spirit, and in this, like, only one of them's going to win. Most of them are going to die. And, like, still they're forging these bonds despite the outcome, which is very much the social commentary on the Vietnam War at the time, and also enlisting in any way, shape, or form these days, right? There's a very real likelihood that you're not going to come out of that the same as you were, if at all.
That whole conversation they had about actual consent. Like, none of us actually volunteered for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's not what happened here.
Yep.
It's conversations like that. There's another one in particular I can't think of, but it comes back. Okay. It is that scene where he's talking about the carbine, and that scene when he eventually does get his wish, Peter at the end, and he's holding the gun and he's pointing it at him, and we are brought back to that moment, and you're like, he told him not to do this, but now he's feeling what he felt and the vengeance that he wanted,
Yes.
against the major for his father, and he's like, I fucking get you, my guy. I get you now, and this is for you, dude.
Yeah, he understands that, and then I thought that was a nice ending where like they didn't show anyone like shoot him, like because they didn't even know how to react, like, and they even comment about that earlier on. They're like, "Yeah, I don't even know what they do since you just won," like
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
oh,
It was a
and then
brutal ending.
well, and then when you look at like the other characters, right? So Garrett Waring portrays Billy
Billy what?
and Stebbins.
Okay, Stebbins, yeah.
So Stebbins obviously is one of the bastard children of the major.
Yeah.
And that is fascinating too, because like
Yeah,
they
that
just
bridge scene entirely when he's revealing that reminded me of Escape from New York at the end of that movie when they're crossing the bridge.
yeah. Well, and then again, here's another like real fucking shitty human character that you just despise the whole movie. You're like, what the hell is this guy's issue? And then you finally realize like he has motivations as well. So like all these different characters are going through some insanely difficult shit in their life to lead them to join this cause. And by join, they volunteer allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Well, you
So
have like the kid, the Curly, whatever his name is, that is killed pretty early on. Then you have Barkovich causing the death of that one kid that looks very young and like innocent and like fucking,
yeah, and that first death though was like traumatic because this is going to happen in this movie, right? And so, um, and what is it? 50 kids is what they said in the.
I think it's one from each state.
Yeah, so in the or in the book, from what I understand, just like generally perusing over the overview, it's 100 people walked. So I don't know if it was 2 per state. So obviously they took some liberties there, but
That's funny. In my review, I walked up and down the street,
yeah.
and my number I put on round my neck was 69.
That's sounds about right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I really like this film, and I didn't walk out of there feeling hopeless. Watching a movie that's as dystopian as that, I feel like lots of times you're going to walk out of there being kind of bummed out, right?
Well, that's the thing
Because
is,
it's very existential.
I was feeling things when I left that movie, and it's hard to define those things. There was definitely like sadness, but it's kind of like that bittersweet sadness that's hard to explain, but where you're hopeful but you're sad. That's kind of the vibe of that ending of that movie, I feel like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it was one of those things that you watch a movie, and generally watching a movie doesn't make me feel better about my life or my experiences as a human. I feel like this movie did that though. It gave me like this ability to just appreciate what I have, even though shit's not necessarily easy. Shit could be way harder than it is, but seeing these people bond in the most dire of circumstances, knowing they're all going to die off one by one, like that was pretty profound. It's like, I don't want to get like overly sentimental about it, but like no one knows how much time they actually have.
Yeah. Well,
And so like just being able to appreciate it, like, like knowing. And then I felt they felt very authentic because there's camaraderie, there's fighting. There's people that just don't know what to do because, like it's crazy.
the character that finally made me actually cry during this film was when Andy was about to go down.
Yeah.
And he's just being carried along by Peter and Ray. And he's like, guys, I can't. I'm out. I'm fucking done. And they're like, nah, man, you're going with us. And he's like, no, like I'm straight up done. And they're like, well, and that's where he has that whole. Peter has that talk about like, you're actually my friend. It doesn't matter how long we've been hanging out and shit. And then Ray's like, yeah, it's been good walking with you. And they have this whole fucking moment before he's like, all right, now fuck off. I'm gonna go die now.
Mm-hmm.
That was a brutal watch.
Yeah.
Hanks, how they all tried to rally around him afterwards, how that kind of led to more deaths and stuff. Yeah, it was a pretty wild movie, man. Makes you
Mhm.
feel things. And it's interesting how if you're that type of person, I feel like movies can make you feel these types of things. If you are open to that, I feel like. Because I can even feel things from the right Marvel movie, you know what I mean?
Well, I feel like there's fundamental parts of the human experience that if you go into a movie and you're open to that experience, I feel like any movie can have that. Obviously, some movies do it better than others. This is a movie I hadn't read I hadn't read anything about it. I didn't like pre-research this movie. I just watched the trailers and knew it was a Bachman book. So I knew it was going to fall a little more on the sci-fi dystopian side of things than say the horror, but obviously there's a lot of terrifying stuff in this movie from an existential standpoint. And like you see these characters there, and then
Their deaths are pretty graphic too, so it's like it
I
puts
mean
that in
shit.
your head, you know.
Um Seeing the dad die when we see Garrity's dad die,
Hmm.
right? When we see that, his dad was going through all this stuff, it felt like it felt to me just as the viewer and my taking this movie in, and I love the book Fahrenheit 451. It's just one of those classic dystopian things about
Yeah.
capitalism and everything. And there's so many things in that book that are still like terrifying today. But this felt like it was in that world, that same universe where like you're not allowed to do things. And if you are caught doing these things that were okay previously or prior to this,
Right.
you're going to be okay. And
It's very much reminded me of also V for Vendetta.
yes.
The Giver had a little bit of vibes of this, where you're not
Mhm.
allowed to do certain things anymore. Or, that's how the future is portrayed in a lot of movies, like weird fascist futures and authoritarian futures.
Yeah.
Like the character in V for Vendetta, he has a bunch of religious texts because they're all outlawed.
Mhm.
And this one, his dad basically had like outlawed music and movies and books potentially and stuff. Just like, not even like anti-government shit, just like
Yeah.
fun time shit, like pop
Yep.
songs. That's why they
Yes.
also have that moment where they're all singing that one song, Clementine.
Yeah.
That occurred to me too. Like, this is world building. They're singing Clementine because that's the fucking music they're forced to listen to growing up. Like, that's their options. They don't have.
Yeah. Yeah, they all
The
know that song.
Beatles.
You're like, why do they know this song? And yeah, to your point, in universe, that just makes sense that you're allowed to listen to what is presented to you. You're
Yeah.
not allowed to go find any of that on your own. So, they all knew that song. So let's talk a little bit on numbers on this. And this was made for 20 million.
Pretty cheap.
So yeah, that's very cheap, especially for a cast like that. But I mean,
For a modern movie, oh yeah. I mean, it's good. It's probably blown that out of the water this weekend.
Mhm.
I feel like. I mean, I hope. Let's see. What else? What other numbers you got?
well, I'm pulling up the box office. So this is the first weekend. Ended at 11.7 million. So I feel like by the time it's done through there, it should do that. They haven't spent a ton of money on marketing this, but the reviews on this, I think, will help it over the coming weeks here.
It's got great reviews too. Yeah. It's like over 90 on Rotten Tomatoes or something, I think. Yeah, didn't have high expectations. I was excited to see it though.
Yeah.
And yeah, just really enjoyed that. Probably my top 5 films of the year right now.
It's definitely up there. This is really good.
And I just didn't expect to like it that much, but yeah. And I keep thinking about it. Like, it's days. I saw this on Thursday night. It's Monday, and I still be like thinking about it. Like, not because we're podcasting and talking about it, just because like I'll be finding myself thinking about it during the day and be like, I need to see that again. Like,
Yeah, so this is interesting because I think uh if you go to it's got a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Um but if you like check out like Google reviews or anything like that, it's like 3.2 out of 5 from the audience, but I just feel like this movie didn't have that crazy amount of hype around it, so I think people that have read the source material are really going to like this. People that go in there with an open mind are really going to like this, and I hope it really does well. Like now and later on, because this is a really good film. I really enjoyed it. Probably, yeah, to your point, easily in the top 5 of this year so far.
Yeah, I mean,
It's something I look forward to watching this again.
yeah, we had some decent stuff. Like last year, I think was a better year still for movies because there were
Mhm.
so many good things that I was like, man. But this year's been pretty decent so far. Like I
Yeah.
liked Together. I didn't love it. Weapons, Final Destination. I Know What You Did Last Summer was okay, but not great. The Monkey. What's the other show? Fantastic Four, I guess. There was like 2 other Marvel movies I forgot.
Uh,
Thunderbolts and Captain America, which
yeah.
Thunderbolts is pretty decent actually. It's probably the best of the 3, to be honest. Like Fantastic Four wasn't bad. It just like, yeah,
I like Fantastic Four personally, but I thought it was fun, well cast.
I liked
But
it. I just didn't love it. Like I think I liked Thunderbolts a little bit more, but maybe it's I don't know. I don't know what it is.
yeah, I mean, Marvel did such a good job in the uh, Infinity Stone saga that you're just like really hard to carry that level. And when I say that, we all know Marvel's had its ups and downs even through all that, but to have those big finishes that you had in Infinity War and Endgame, it's hard to carry that quality consistently across every platform, and then just making it easy going, right? Some
Mhm.
people don't want to have to watch every fucking TV show out there to be able to go see a movie, and um, it's saturated, but I mean, people love superheroes, so there's just expectations that you're only going to release the best, and if you're not going to make it good, then don't make it at all because people don't care.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
having
I
a
think
hard time even thinking of movies that I'm excited for the rest of the year.
if I pulled up a list, I definitely have some things on there I'm excited about, but
I'm more excited probably for Stranger Things.
The Running Man I'm really looking forward to.
I guess
And
I'm looking forward to The Running Man, and I'm looking forward to Silent Night, Deadly Night.
yeah, those two. Return of the
Which-
Living Dead, doesn't that come out on Christmas Day too?
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. I haven't seen, to be fair, I don't think any of the sequels to the original.
Neither have I. So
This one is, I think, ignoring those and taking place like the same night as the first movie, from what I understand, or like the next night or something. Like right after.
I heard it takes place the same year, like later on, but I don't know. But
Yeah,
either way,
it's
it's
something.
it's intriguing. I'm interested in that. So like right
think-
now, I say I'm looking forward to that. But
Yeah, and then
a trailer could come out that looks like shit, and I could be like, yeah, you know what? I might wait and watch that at home.
the next Scream comes out in like February. Toxic Avenger was pretty good, but I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Yeah, I had fun. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
feel
an
like for
interesting
me,
year.
like the mark for a movie is, do I want to watch that as soon as it's available on home video? Like, right?
Yeah.
And am I going to buy it on physical media? Am I going to buy digital? Am I going to wait for it to stream free on some site? Like, how exciting is it that it's coming out?
I will say, I bought Final Destination Bloodlines.
Okay.
What else did I buy that's come out this year? I didn't buy The Monkey yet, but I want to on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy Weapons on probably just Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll buy Toxic Avenger, to be honest.
So,
we'll see.
Liz and I just watched Final Destination Bloodlines
Mm-hmm.
because she hadn't, obviously with a toddler here, it's hard for us to go to the movies together.
So that was your second rewatch or second watch?
Yeah, that was my second viewing of it. I gotta say, I liked that movie when it came out. I think I liked it a little bit more on the second viewing, just because I kind of knew what to expect. The stress was taken out of it,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes for me, like not knowing about a movie, there's like an anxiety of like, okay, got to pay super close attention. Like if I got to hit the bathroom, like there's just so many things that can
Yeah.
take the full enjoyment out of that. And that doesn't happen for, like a great movie is going to be a great movie no matter what. But a movie like that, I was able to just relax because I kind of pretty much, I didn't remember everything about it, but I remembered it enough that I could just relax and watch it and just take it all in. And that helps.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Final Destination movies, besides the fucking part 4. So
Yeah.
I definitely bought that one as soon as it came out.
Nice.
Just bought the regular Blu-ray though, because they haven't released any of the others on any other format, and I like to have a series on one format if I can.
Yeah, I feel like that helps.
The highest quality format possible of that series, if I really am into that series. Like, I recently picked up the Leprechaun movies, like the Blu-ray set, because it was at Half Price Books for like $10 for all of them, but the last one they did.
Oh yeah, yeah, I did that too, but I just got the digital copy because they.
Here's what's interesting: someone stole the digital copy from mine.
Oh,
and here's how I know this. The Leprechaun Blu-ray set, it was, I don't know, it was like $10 or $13, and it still had the tape on the top of it. The tape that used to come, that says Leprechaun 7-disc collection or whatever on the top of the case. Wasn't shrink wrapped or anything. And it still had the digital code in there, so I was like, cool. Hopefully that works. I like to get digital codes for my movies too. I like to redeem those just to collect as many on there, mostly just for things like vacations. Like I've used those if I'm like, when we've flown to New York and stuff, I'll watch some stuff on a computer or on a vacation, so you don't have to bring physical media or anything. You just have access to that stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it was like, this has been redeemed already 2 days ago. And I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean 2 days ago? No, so someone's... So I looked on the sticker for the Leprechaun of like, because at Vintage Stock and Half Price Books, you can see what date they put the price on there.
Oh, okay.
And it was like 3 weeks ago. I was like, so that means either an employee or somebody went in there, took a picture of it from the bottom, because you could barely open the crack
it
case.
Open, yeah.
Because like I said, it was taped closed on the top still.
Mm-hmm.
So I fucking emailed Lionsgate and was like, listen, motherfuckers, somebody stole my shit. And they get me a new code.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
yeah,
like,
so...
yeah.
I mean, I buy a fair amount of digital stuff just because, to your point, it's convenient.
Yeah.
When you're traveling or you're going somewhere. Like if I'm going to go visit our mom, I just log into my movies anywhere or my Fandango at home. And like, I can watch a shitload of my movies without having to bring anything. I don't have to worry about her not having a 4K player or probably even having a fucking Blu-ray player hooked up in the living room. I don't honestly remember if she does.
And you can watch it on whatever highest format you have. Like, so if you have the 4K, it'll stream the 4K on the 4K TV. If you don't have that, it'll stream lower quality. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's great. And so is it perfect? No, it's not perfect by any means, but it's a nice option to have for traveling and everything else.
Well, it's great because I got like all the Ghostbusters movies on there, all the Jurassic Park movies. Well, the first 5 Jurassic Park movies are on there for me.
Yeah.
2 more Abominations they released that I don't give a fuck about. I have still not bought on physical media Dominion or Rebirth, and I don't know if I ever will.
I didn't get anything past Jurassic World on physical media.
Straight up, the only reason I have the Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is because I bought a 5 Blu-ray set. Because I didn't have any of them on Blu-ray at that point, and I was like, oh, okay. I really just want the first 3, but like, I'll take World. Sure, why not?
Yeah. No, I feel you there. I mean, because
And I recently picked up the Children of the Corn 6-movie collection. It's like
nice.
all the sequels besides the first one, because I've never really dived into any of those besides the first one. Now I'm sure some of them are pretty bad, but
Sure.
gotta check them out.
Trying to figure out where I bought the Leprechaun at, but yeah, the Leprechaun movies, I think I got a set for super cheap.
Hmm.
And by cheap, I mean like.
Hello. Oh,
That was odd.
you disappeared for a moment.
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, I'm all good over here, still on the internet and stuff. Yeah, I'm, as I mentioned last week, feeling in a pretty whimsical Halloween mood this year, and
It's a good time to be, man. We've already watched Casper and Hocus Pocus, because my daughter loves Halloween, so she's into it. And so she was even asking to watch like Halloween episodes of shows recently. So we've been watching that kind of stuff and just trying to find family friendly stuff that's not scary for an almost 3-year-old.
yeah.
And then, trying to scare myself some with other stuff. So it's just like, yeah. I like this though, because like having audiobooks going, I'm getting spooky stuff that way. I just finished reading the book The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury. So like having reading, audio, movies, TV shows, it's so good. It's such a good time of year.
Yep, I actually pulled out some Halloween cassette soundtracks today and whatnot, like
Oh
the
yeah.
soundtracks, but like the Halloween sound tapes and stuff.
Oh,
like some
nice.
of them have Ghostbusters and Thriller on there. Some of them have like
Mhm.
actual sound effects and stuff. So
Yeah.
fun times. Well, I guess that's it for today's episode for the most part. The long walk was glorious.
Yeah, it was great. Go check it out if you haven't yet. And then we'll be back next week to talk. I don't know what we're talking about yet, but we'll let you know.
Something spooky, probably. I don't know if anything's coming out this week or not. There also Spinal Tap 2 came out this week. I kind of want to go see that.
I do want to see that, and that's one of those movies that I'm like, did that movie need a sequel?
I don't know. They're
I don't
making
know.
Spaceballs 2, so I mean,
Yeah.
I sent you a clip the other day of Josh Gad talking about that. I don't know if you watched it.
I didn't see that yet. Yeah, I mean, Spaceballs 2 should be entertaining. I know Mel Brooks has been talking about this for a long time, but the fact that they did the Star Wars sequel trilogy and they're still doing it makes sense.
Yeah.
Surprised it took this long, but they're actually kind of smart doing it this way because I think is Mandalorian and Grogu come out next summer?
Yeah.
And then so Spaceballs 2 will likely come out next fall or early the year after. So yeah, it should be good.
We got Scary Movie 6 from the Wayans brothers coming out probably next summer as well.
That sounds promising. I'd like to revisit those.
Especially, they did the first 2 movies. They were in charge of them, kind of. And then the third one was done by, I think, the Zucker dudes who did Airplane, which I love the third one also, but it is fucked up that it was kind of taken from them. It's coming back to them, though, so they'll be able to reference stuff like Terrifier, Jordan Peele's stuff. I mean, they've already talked about everything they're going to try to...
Yeah, there's so much source material for that.
You know what movie does look interesting is that football movie with Damon Wayans. Is that Damon Wayans, I think? Him? Have you seen that? Trailers for that? It looks like it's like a football-themed horror movie, like a football star is like sold his soul to the devil or some shit, it kind of looks like,
Really?
And like Damon Wayans isn't the football star, but he's like the guy, like he might be the devil. You should go check out the trailer for that because I think it comes out in October or this month even. It's Jordan Peele produced, I think, but not directed or anything.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You're more into football than me. I think it looks interesting, but not because of the football, but like the rest of the movie makes me like, oh, I could still see a movie about that if it's interesting enough.
Yeah, that's why Draft Day that Ivan Reitman directed, I really enjoyed that movie just because I enjoy football. Like I'm not like a crazy diehard fan for it, but I like watching the Chiefs. And before that, I've done some fantasy football and shit. So it's not like it's my end all be all. Like I don't know an insane number of player names, but I know enough about it to enjoy it and taking it socially. I would say that, So
I watched just for some feel good vibes last night. I watched What About Bob?
ooh, I haven't watched that recently.
Yeah, it was due for a rewatch because
That's a really good movie, but Bill Murray annoys the fuck out of me in that movie.
really,
His character. Like
you're fucking Richard Dreyfuss, man.
I know, and I watched that movie and I'm like, God damn it, why am I relating to him? And I haven't watched it in a while because it used to like really like fucking just make me drive my anxiety wild watching like that kind of shenanigans.
Oh my god, because that movie makes me feel so fucking calm watching that movie, bro. That movie makes me chill as fuck. That's why I put it on. It's because it's a feel good. Like, if I had a bad day, I put that movie on and it's fucking over with. I'm just chilling with Bob and Richard Dreyfuss because I love Richard Dreyfuss in that movie is like fucking Max Wright in Alf. Like he's just so pissed off that it's just I can't. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, I like the movie, but it's one of those I don't revisit it that often. But now that I'm in a much better spot in my personal life, it's probably a movie I can watch without some of the anxiety and shit that I would get watching that before.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
if you've never been with somebody that literally like does everything to drive you crazy and make you miserable, you're a lucky person. You're a very lucky person. But yeah, that's a good call. I should rewatch that again. That's a good kind of that's supposed to take place over summer vacation, right?
I can't. No, it's summer Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend. Okay.
I think he's away till Labor Day. So.
Okay. Yeah. So it's the time of year to watch that. I feel like, I might have to check that out this week. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I was kind of like I wanted to put on a Halloween movie, but also I was like I just need something good, some good vibes right now, and that was definitely it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't get annoyed by Bill Murray at all in that movie. I'm kind of like on the side of the family, like where they're like, "What's wrong with you? He's fun. Chill out, freak."
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like I've been in some bad relationships where like fucking people destroy your mental health and it's fucking tough, but I do need to rewatch it now.
What makes it good too is I watched this movie at my like lowest before, mentally, health wise.
Yeah.
And that also it made me feel good because I was like, all right, I'm still in a little bit better shape than this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not that okay. That's fair. I can see that.
I haven't faked suicide to find out where my therapist is at on vacation.
Yeah, that's fair.
Some of that dark humor is awesome in that movie too. Yeah, because Richard Dreyfuss at one point is like putting explosives around Bill Murray's neck in the woods, and he's like, "You're gonna kill me, right?" He's like, "Yes, death therapy, because you just won't go away." And he's like, "I'll go away," and he's like, "No, you won't. You're just saying that."
Yeah, you're just saying that. Yeah, I do need to watch that. That's a good call. I'll throw that on this weekend.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing up, and we'll see you back at it next week. I'll tell you how I felt after watching it this time.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, we'll see you later.